Okay, so I'm going through all of the shit they talked about with the UFO meeting. Um, okay, so the information that was given was meant to shock. And also, you had contradictory testimony from witnesses. Now, that's a favorite technique used by the, psych divisions of the military to keep you confused as to what is real and what isn't, but at the same time letting them feed you information and accept information in a way that benefits them. Not real complicated, semi complicated. Fuck. All right, so let me play devil's advocate for a minute. Let's say I have a technology that would allow me to intercept every missile fired by an adversary at my country. What if I had a system that would allow me to intercept nuclear armed intercontinental ballistic missiles from Russia and China or Pakistan or Iran, anywhere else, North Korea, okay? What if I had that technology? What would it be worth? What would the consequences be for my adversaries if they knew I had this technology? Okay, so this is why the secrecy. In a nutshell, this is why the Kennedys were killed, because they were going to tell the world about the little green men. We know that Marilyn Monroe talked to a reporter and said, because the boys had basically shunned her, she was all pissed off and she was going to talk about the little green men. Next thing you know, she's dead. So Dr. Stephen Greer has documentation that points a pretty guilty finger towards that having happened. And these people, these independent people, not the government, these independent people with inside workers, contacts within the government, they looked at the Kennedys as just fucking pain in the ass rich boys playing politics. That's how they looked at them. We look up to them, but see, these guys, for what they were doing and what they knew and the secrets that they were holding, these were just a couple of fucking guys, man. You're just president for 4 years, motherfucker. You are not blowing this. And that's Ace in the Hole Technologies. So you're never going to see these videos talked about on YouTube, because understanding the systems and understanding the military mind makes me dangerous for them, because I could sit anyone down within an hour and not just convince them that alien life is visiting our planet, but that they're actually very kind and generous and no harm to us whatsoever. I could prove that to you through empirical evidence. I could also prove to you why these people would take any action, including all of the people who've died, fell out of hospital windows, committed suicide in a car with a hose, you know what I mean? Or just assassinated. Like he said, like Oswald said, I'm a patsy. You see, that is what that technology's worth. If I could shoot down, if I just had one vehicle that I could take up into the air, let alone a fleet, if I just had one that I could take up into the air and perform not just what I've seen with my own eyes, but reported capabilities of these vehicles. Okay? What I saw the summer that I got my answer, when I looked into the sky and I asked a question, I got an answer, and with my doubt came an even stronger answer. Okay? Not a week after that, I'm looking up, and this light that was just sitting there, I'm looking at this light. It does a zigzag move, zinc, 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 gone. And it did it like that, almost as if to say, watch this, watch this. Okay, so no military organization would do that for me. No military organization would give a shit that I've been, a spokesperson for UFOs my entire life. They don't give a fuck about that, okay? But I truly believe that I was shown. You can go to my page and see my crow basically calling me outside, telling me, hey, come look at this. That is not a fucking drone. So now what's that worth? I have this technology. I can go out and I can shoot down, let's say each vehicle is capable of performing what I saw. That means they could go out there and disable, if they fired 100, one vehicle could probably take care of 100 before they reached the top of their trajectory. Okay? That would be pretty scary for your adversary. As a matter of fact, they might even consider a massive first strike. If they knew for sure that you had that not guessing, not my video, if they were 100% for sure that the United States had vehicles that could perform the way UFOs perform, okay, then they may be tempted to launch a massive first strike, understanding that all of their nuclear deterrent is now useless. Russia the same way, China same way, okay? Let alone a fleet of these vehicles where they're sitting somewhere in the middle of Dugway, and next thing you know, they're sitting over Europe within seconds. Within seconds. That is technology worth killing for. That is technology worth doing anything for. That's how these people look at it, because they're war, ace in the hole, weapon-minded people. Okay? And the way society is right now, the way we let ourselves be led by despots and rapists and criminals and fucking warlords and, okay? The only way to change that is to entirely change the human psyche, to have a sea change in how humans even just view their world, okay? And that is that nobody needs anything from anybody any longer. Nobody needs oil. Nobody needs energy of any kind whatsoever. You have clean, unlimited energy to not just try to repair the planet and to cool it back down, okay, over the next 30 years, okay? But now, nobody would have to spend anything to go anywhere. You're talking about energy sources that are clean, free. Now, who would control that? Let's say they come out. Let's say they take one of these energy devices and they come out and they show it to the world. And they go, United States does this. And they say, look, here we go. You see this thing that looks like a piece of plexiglass? This thing is going to power the United States for the next 1,000 years completely clean. That would be very hard for the world. The way as it is right now, that would be very, very hard for the world. Many countries around the world rely on pumping poison out of the ground. to feed their people and to keep the lights on. Okay, I mean, would we share that technology? You see, if we bring it out, everybody's going to have it, and that therein lies the problem. You can't bring these technologies out because of the things they've done, the crimes they've committed. There are people who are willing to talk, okay? And those people are watched constantly. I'm sure that every one of those people, their phone is tapped. They've got people sitting down the fucking street. There's no doubt in my mind that the people that are in the know are watched very closely. So there's your conundrum, okay? Yes, alien vehicles are visiting our planet. Yes, we have vehicles that can mimic alien vehicles. So now the majority of people can't tell the difference. I always say if it looks like God made it, okay, you can bet that it's alien. Everything else is up for grabs now. You never know. Some of the things we can't do. I saw the one, it was in New Mexico, this ball, a black ball, stops. And out of each side of this black ball, littler black balls start shooting out. Hundreds off each side, just hundreds of these things just spraying out from this littler object. It couldn't have held 10 or 20 of those other ones, but yet hundreds of these little other vehicles come shooting out of it. Okay, so now I look at that and I go, okay, so that's not something humans would even do. If we had the technology, there's no reason for us to be doing what they're doing. So those are obviously sensors. You see, alien life that's looking at our planet, they want to take samples of all of the life forms. They want to be able to, if they find a planet that's like Earth, they could repopulate it with some of our species. I truly believe that's what it is. Nothing is important in the universe except life. As soon as you get to the levels that I'm talking about, where you have infinite energy sources and you can travel 10,000 times faster than the speed of light, or 1,000,000 times faster than the speed of light interdimensionally. Once you have these kind of technologies, you have the science to turn shit into food. And that's where the breaking point is. That's when you become nothing but a spiritual race. See, the first part here is power. Okay? Free, infinite power. That's one thing. That's one thing. But you see, once you've had that for thousands and thousands of years, you've come to a point where you can control the smallest of objects, quarks, muons, bosons, whatever. You can control all of these particles. And so now you need nothing, and nothing has value. How valuable are diamonds if I could make diamonds this big all day long from shit or steel or wood or throwing away food? How much would diamonds be worth? Well, diamonds would be worth nothing. Energy's not worth anything because we conquered that. Gold's not worth anything because you just tell your machine, okay, I need gold, and there's fucking gold. Nothing has value in this universe to those kind of races. Those kind of beings, they don't need a single fucking thing we have. They are here because they see the life on our planet, how amazingly, astoundingly full of life our planet is, how lucky we are. And that's why they're not retaliating when we shoot them down. They don't come back and wipe out every fucking aircraft carrier in the United States Navy, which they're completely capable of doing. You see, this is what bothers the military. They're going to be looked at as weak. As we talk about these beings being more and more real, because, well, everybody has a fucking high-definition camera now. It's pretty hard to say nothing's going on when everybody can film this shit going on nonstop, right? They're going to be, they're kind of fucked. You know what I mean? Coming out for these groups is going to be extremely difficult because of what they've done. Do the Chinese, have they recovered vehicles? Have they back engineered? Well, you see, China wasn't as modern and capable as us for the longest time. They just now started catching up, okay? But we can see how industrious and smart and capable they are. If they've captured and reverse engineered these vehicles, and neither side wants to admit that they have it, we know what militaries do. They'll end up using those technologies. The results of that, I have no fucking idea. It goes way, it starts to really get complicated at that point, when the dominoes start falling, okay? Especially when the dominoes start spraying out in different directions. Too hard to follow. But the point is that these beings visiting our planet are not here for anything we have. They are watching us in sorrow and dismay that a species that was blessed with conscious sentience would end up like this as far as civics class. They're here for civics class. They've seen this happen before, or there are records of a humanoid species like ours developing before, where they got to the point where they were not spiritually mature, but had the capability of destroying themselves. How many times do they make it past that point? That's what they're watching. They're terrified that we're going to destroy ourselves. My hope is that we're not allowed to fuck this planet up, and that we're not allowed to kill 1 billion people, that these beings have a limit to, or some kind of okay, they've passed DEFCON 25 and we get to step in now as far as universal law is concerned. The number, Roddenberry had it. He knew, right? Bradbury, Asimov, they all knew that species that interfere with other species are the bad guy, regardless of intent. The prime directive was, if you violated that, it was the death penalty for a good reason. And so I look at that and I'm like, well, yeah, a spiritual being would look at it exactly like that. And I'm just hoping, beyond hope, that there's some way that they are allowed to interfere if the despots and the greedy, evil fucking souls on this planet decide that, oh, really? Well, here, I'm just going to kill 100 million people. Right? Who the fuck has their finger? Why the fuck should one guy be able to have their finger on a button that powerful? No human on this planet should have that right. Yet we give it to the most fucked up people. They know that. And let's hope to God that there's a point at which they can interfere. Okay? Because you can see what I'm telling you is that there's really no way out of this conundrum. That's what I basically wasted 20 minutes telling you. 18 minutes, 23 seconds. I don't see a way out of this conundrum. I really don't. You're screwed if you do this. You're screwed if you do that. You're screwed if you do this. You're screwed if you do that, because human beings are just not spiritually mature enough. It comes down to how we set up our societies, the way we function, the way we feed ourselves, okay? Basically, that's, in a nutshell, that's number one, okay? Is that you don't starve the world to death. Yeah, I don't know. I've thought about it my whole life. I think it's impossible to have human beings bring this technology out in a way that saves us. That the private companies that are in control of this, you see, by making it extra congressional, you immediately take government and say, fuck you. I don't need to tell you shit. That's why they do it. That's why corporations are individuals. So you can't hurt their rights. Okay, they've set it up pretty good. But I just want to assure you that if they wanted to, there's so many times where they could have just devastated us and said, oh yeah? You want to shoot down, one of our vehicles? Here, how about this? We're going to shoot down 10 of yours. That's never happened. They've never even retaliated. Usually, when something bad happens, it's because our vehicles got too close to them. And we don't understand their technologies for propulsion, and it fucked our vehicles up. They're not here. They don't need anything from us. We need them desperately. We need their knowledge and their wisdom desperately. And let's hope there's a point at which they're allowed to step in.